Hi, everybody, and welcome to ENG 4800 Studies in a Major Literary Figure. Our major literary figure just happens to be Stephen King, one of the best selling authors of all time. He has sold hundreds of millions of books at this point. I think 380 million might have been the last count. I'd have to check to see the update. So I'm hoping you're you're here because you're a Stephen King fan. If you're not, you probably maybe will be at the end of our 16 weeks. This is my Stephen King library behind me. I have all of his books, and I have just about everything written about him, including 2 books of my own that I've written there. Back here somewhere, there's The Linguistics of Stephen King, and there is Excavating Stephen King. Those are my latest 2 books about him. I'm considered, go figure, I'm considered a world expert on Stephen King because I've written a couple of books, presented some papers, and done some things on him. And there aren't that many of us, really, in the world. We all know one another. So what we're going to be doing in the next 15, 16 weeks is we're going to be looking at the work of Stephen King and trying to use our critical thinking skills and improve our writing skills, mostly to kind of look at the world through his perspective. I didn't have a problem convincing my deans and people that Stephen King is a major literary figure. However, a lot of critics dismiss him as just being a hack writer who makes a lot of money. And he's made I wouldn't say a small fortune, he's made a large fortune off of his works. If you're familiar with his works, that's really cool, and if you're not, you will become so. And if you think he just writes horror, he also writes he's written stories that aren't horror. Here's my t-shirt, Property of Shawshank Prison. He did write the novella that the Shawshank Redemption, the film, is based on. He also wrote the novel, The Body, that the movie Stand By Me is based on, and you're probably familiar with a lot of his other films, The Shining, The Stand, Carrie. There's piles of them. So what we're going to do in this class, really, we're going to look at his stories and analyze them. You can check out the syllabus and see what we're going to read. I think we're starting with a short story cookie jar, which I've posted for you. You are going to need to get a hold of copies of Pet Sematary, The Shining, Different Seasons, which includes both The Body and The Shawshank Redemption, and The Green Mile. And also, I'd like you to get a hold of or get access to a couple of the films, namely The Shawshank Redemption especially, and The Green Mile, and any of the others that you would like to look at as well, and Stand By Me too, I think. Most of them are available on Netflix, or you can rent them for a couple of bucks, something like that. If we were in class, I'd have them in the library for you, or we'd show them in class. Unfortunately, I can't really do that with the COVID epidemic that's been going on. So this is a labor of love for me, as you can see. I'm a really big Stephen King fan, as well as a Stephen King scholar, I guess, if there is such a thing. I guess if there is such a thing, I'm it, or one of the few people that are. I'm hoping we're going to have a lot of fun with this. And one of the things I want to do is look at Stephen King from the perspective of a major literary figure. He's very well known. He's very popular. There have been critics. The late Harold Bloom accused Stephen King of the dumbing down of American letters. There's been other critics that have basically just called him a hack writer. I think, and there are other literary writers that say the same thing. I think a lot of them are jealous because they'd like to be making the kind of money he's making and selling as many books as he does. Frankly, I'd love to trade royalty checks with him, even just for one day. I can imagine what he rakes in even in one day in his royalty checks. So what I want you to do for this class is, again, check over the syllabus, look through the week 1 file. There's some things there for you to do. I'm going to put up a to-do list every week. I think this is going to be a fun class, and it's not so much to be for you to become experts on Stephen King, although you probably will be, uh, but it is to literature to me is a thing that really trains you to think more critically. And boy, if there's nothing else we need in the world right now, we need people to think more critically. I know you guys as college seniors already do, but it never hurts to look at the world from a different perspective. Now, Stephen King's novels, they're horror, many, or he's been labeled the king of horror, America's boogeyman, all kind of things. He's got all kind of nicknames that they have given him. But his novels, if you look at them seriously, which is what we're going to do, we're going to look at his stories very seriously, there are a lot more than just hack horror novels. They have some really important themes that as a matter of fact, some people have equated our world today as a combination of The Stand and The Dead Zone. The Stand, where a pandemic wipes out 99% of the population, and The Dead Zone, where a crazy guy becomes or is about to run for president, and the main character in the book has a psychic ability to see that he's going to set off a nuclear war. And I won't tell you how that book ends. I'll let you read that one for yourself. There's also a film version of it. I think they even did a TV miniseries on it. So a lot of people are saying Stephen King is, he sort of projected and predicted 2020, 2021. He claims that he tells the interviewers, he says, I'm very sorry that the world turned out the way it's turned out in my books. I didn't mean for that to happen. But his stories really deal with themes like racism, for example, in both Shawshank Redemption, that comes up, The Green Mile, it comes up. The prison system comes up in both of those novels as well. They're both set in prisons. The death penalty comes up in that story. Alcohol abuse, that comes up in The Shining. Pet Cemetery is about, one of the great lines from that is sometimes dead is better. There's so many, when you read Stephen King, you can read him for fun, and please do enjoy it. He's a great read. It's hard to put his books down. But if you read them a second time, or if you reread them, or if you examine them more closely, there's a lot going on in those stories. Enough for me to have spent the last, 6 years writing books and articles and things about him from an academic perspective. So I think what we're going to be looking at is the two Stephen Kings, the Stephen King that's the best-selling author, and how he goes about doing that. Why is he so popular? So many people love his works, and I mean, you can see from popular culture, I've got a Stephen King mug here. He's even got his own action figure, so to speak. Here, Stephen King action figure. He's got, It has been a real popular. Here's the It pen. So he's really an icon of popular culture in so many ways. And one of the things we'll look at is how he was able to do that. How can he write stories that so many millions of people can relate to, and they run out and buy them? When the new Stephen King book comes out, the pre-orders, they sell millions in a pre-order before it's even printed. That's on the one hand. And on the other hand, what is going on beneath the stories? What kind of messages and what kind of themes are going on? Are these stories just fun little stories to read? And yes, I think they are, but I also think that they say something about life in America, life in the world. I think they really give a perspective on the way things are today. I think you can by studying him, you can learn a lot of things about not just popular culture, but his themes are very complicated. They ask you about things like what you think of the death penalty. What would you do if certain things happen? The old thing: if you could go back in time and kill Hitler before he became a maniac, would you do it? Well, that's the theme of the book 11/22/63, where a guy gets an opportunity to go back and kill Lee Harvey Oswald before he kills Kennedy. So a lot of these things, they can be very philosophical in some ways and very deep. What I really want from this class is a lot of discussion. So we're going to have Zoom classes. I've got the Zoom times put up, and I don't want to do all the talking. I'm in the process of writing a book right now. It's about a third of the way done, called How to Read Stephen King Like an English Professor. This one might even be able to make some money. The others are these scholarly books that only libraries buy, and believe it or not, you can find them in Harvard University Library has these books. I was shocked to find that out, but they do. But in doing that, some of the books we'll be studying, I have not written those chapters yet. I have written about The Shining, for example, but I haven't gotten to Pet Sematary yet. I haven't gotten to The Green Mile. I'm going to be writing them as we go along. This is part of my project for this year, is to write this book. And so some of the feedback that I get from you, some of the discussions we have that I get from you guys in class are probably going to help me in writing these chapters, particularly the ones on Pet Sematary, The Green Mile, and Shawshank Redemption I have not done yet. So, and you don't have to buy any critical books. I'm putting up chapters from some of my books on ULearn as needed. I did one chapter and one book on the First Story Cookie Jar. I've got that posted for you so you can read it and see what I had to think about it. What I really want from you is your own ideas, opinions. I don't want you quoting the critics. Okay, I know all the critics. They're my friends. I see them at conferences. I know them all. If I want to hear what Patrick McLear or Tony Magistral, two of the major Stephen King critics, say, if I want to hear what they have to say about Stephen King, I just got to send them a text. I got to get them on my chat line and ask them a question. So I don't need you guys to requote them to me. I've read all their books as well. I want to know what you think of the stories, and if you're a Stephen King fan, you will have one perspective. If you're brand new to Stephen King, you're probably going to have a different perspective. And that's going to be very useful to me in the book that I'm writing at this point. I think since I'm writing a book, How to Read Stephen King Like an English Professor, it is almost the fact that you will be reading it as students will really give me a perspective on how to write that. And I will share some of the pieces of that with you, and I'll invite you to comment on it too and let me know if I'm on the right track or not. Okay, well, anyway, I will see you on Tuesday. I'm recording this. When is this? I lose track of the days now. This is Thursday. I'm recording this now. I'm going to be posting it up pretty soon, sending it out as an announcement, and I will see you at Tuesday. Our Zoom class is, I think it's at 9:30. We might be 9:40, something like that, but the Zoom thing only allows me to do half-hour increments. So I'm going to have classes on Tuesday and Thursday for 1 hour each. If we find that we need less, then I might just do it for once a week. But I'm going to start off at twice a week at any rate. And this is really a discussion class more than anything. There'll be a lot of discussion boards and a lot of in-class discussions. And I can give you my ideas and opinions on what I think of Stephen King, but that's the thing I love about literature in English. There's no one answer. It's like 2 and 2 equals 4 in math, but in English it can equal anything you want it to. As a matter of fact, according to Douglas Adams, 42 is the meaning of life. So he's a science fiction writer, go figure. So in English it can mean anything that you want it to mean, so long as you can make a case for it based on the text that you're reading. So I will see you hopefully on Zoom. I hope last term people for some reason did not want to turn on their videos. They just wanted to be, I guess talk when they wanted to or text. But I hope you feel comfortable being able to turn on your video so we can have like a real class and actually get to see one another. And that's another reason I'm real casual today. I got the the hat based on a novel by Stephen King. I haven't bothered to shave. Real casual today, unprofessorial. So I'm figuring if you can see me looking casual like this, you shouldn't feel embarrassed. As long as you've got clothes on, you shouldn't feel embarrassed putting yourself up there on Zoom so we can all have a discussion. I am treating this, since I think you're all seniors, this is a 4,800 level class, I am treating this class like a graduate school seminar in Stephen King, really. We'll be pretty much informal. There's not going to be any real lectures going on. It's going to be a lot less formal than that. So I'm looking forward to sharing the next 15, 16 weeks with you. And after that, I'm going to be retiring. I'm living out here on a 3-acre ranch in Georgia right now. Due to the wonders of modern technology, I can teach from way the heck out here in the middle of nowhere. And so I'm hoping that I've got an English comp class as well that I'm teaching. Will be my last 2 classes at Johnson & Wales. I'm a 36-year veteran of this place, so I'm hoping that this will be one of the best classes ever. I know it would be better if we were face-to-face in the classroom, but, to quote another famous writer, Kurt Vonnegut Jr., he has a refrain in one of his books that says, "So it goes." Every time somebody dies, he says, "So it goes." I guess that's kind of a little bit morbid, but no one's dying here, but still, so it goes. Okay, so I will see you guys on Tuesday. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at any time about anything. I'm on the computer constantly. Thanks, and stay safe, stay well. Bye-bye.